All right, it's another one of these. We're currently at in what we know as book 4, which is the specific part being after Pandarus shoots Menelaus, and then Agamemnon is assembling the hosts, or reassembling. Sing, goddess, of that time when the Lord Marshal Agamemnon went through the hosts of the Achaeans to reassemble them for that great battle. Menelaus had been shot by one of the Trojan lines, Pandarus, who came with his great bow and assembled behind his wall of shields to shoot that deadly shaft into the flank of the Lord Marshal's brother, the King of Sparta. War had been rekindled. All the men were assembling for war, and Agamemnon had spoken to the men. Came he next to those of Argos, thirsty and great and fertile. Diomedes it was, son of the great one who went against that walled city of Thebes of the 7 gates. Tydeus' son was accompanied by his attendant Sthenelus, son of that other who went to that city of Thebes. And Agamemnon spoke to them, seeing that the son of Tydeus had not been quick to assemble his troops. What is this, Diomedes? Thou art always bragging to be the youngest and bravest of the Argive captains, and yet you, king of Argos, king of those Argives, those very ones, are not assembling at such speed as to prepare for battle. Where is that courage of Tydeus that is said to have been flowing through your veins? I myself did not know Tydeus. He had gone already to Thebes, and there was an embassy sent to us in Mycenae, and we had agreed to join him in that conquest of the city, that retaking. But at the last minute, a portent came from those Olympian gods, and we were to stay home. And thus it was to our profit, as we would not have survived potentially. But that same courage that allowed Tydeus to join and go among his enemies and excel at all of the sports and shame them in every one of them, on the way back even defeating 50 men who had come against him, that same courage does not flow through the veins of you, or you, Sthenelus, who, so you say, a son of Capaneus, would not even hold a candle to that great man, those 2 who died fighting on the walls of 7-gated Thebes. Diomedes heard this and quelled his inner rage. He knew what was needed from the men was passion and fury, and that same passion was to be directed against the Trojans, not against their lord commander. But Sthenelus could not hold back his rage. How could you say such a thing, Agamemnon, Lord Marshal of the Achaeans? What foolishness has passed through that gap in your teeth? No, we ourselves had gone to seven-gated Thebes after our fathers had failed and taken it with an even smaller force than they had, we should never be compared in the same breath to our fathers. We far outdo them. Any slackness in us now is merely due to that great length of time we had spent languishing on the beach, not pushing forward towards the city of Troy. And whose fault would that be, I may ask? But before he could say any more, Diomedes chided him. Nay, Sthenelus, do not speak ill of our Lord Commander, and great Lord Marshal Agamemnon, I hope that you will forgive us for our transgressions here, and for any hasty words we may have said. It is all upon Agamemnon's shoulders, Sthenelus. Whether we take the city of Troy or nay, all the glory would go to him if the city falls, but if we should fail, all the responsibility lies on him. Thus, I do not count against him for chiding us or for trying to spur us on. It is but his due as king and his great burden as leader of the Argive force. Yea, Agamemnon, we shall push forward. We shall give all we have in this, and you will see that neither of us is lesser than those fathers who bore us and who died fighting at that city of Thebes. We will do proud to our ancestors and to you. Agamemnon, happy to hear such a thing, moved forward through the Argive host. He saw, apart from his brother Ajax, that great Teucer of the shining bow, who was the bastard brother of Ajax himself, son of Telamon, foster son that is, who had come fleeing from his former city, but now identified with none but Salamis. He led a company of great archers, doughtier than those from Locris, of that other Ajax's homeland. And Teucer it was who would make many a grave on that city of Troy. Agamemnon passed him on, patting him on the shoulder and offering him words of encouragement. Then he saw two men, some of the greatest among his, who again were offering not quite what he had hoped. Odysseus it was, at his ships decked in the middle of the force, was seemingly not assembling his troops at all. For yea, verily they had not heard the order to commence forth, and that there had been trouble in the front lines. They had been farther back, not necessarily seeing what had happened in that front action. They were already behind preparing the banquet that was to come. Odysseus, son of Laertes of rocky Ithaca, and Menestheus, that great champion of Athens, who, besides Nestor, was the greatest leader of men among them, and very skilled in horse lore, able to ride the chariot among the best of them. These two great captains were standing aside, and Agamemnon singled out Odysseus. Son of Laertes, what is this I see, that you would be among the first to feast, always the greatest portion at the banquet, the best of my wine, which is constantly coming in from those other islands, and from Thrace, and from Jason's son Euneus. You, it always is, who is first to feast, and first to offer advice, and first among all the dainties that we have in our camp. And yet, what do you offer to this army if you will not fight for us now? It is but a coward that Laertes has borne to give us. You offer many words, and I will not doubt that your speech stands above the rest of them. But what good does it do us on the battlefield? Odysseus was angered at this. He said to him, Lord Marshal, you of all people should know that you do not hold a counselor at your right hand who is a coward. I have fought in many battles and proven my strength 10 times over. My force is among the greatest in the Achaean host, and you could be forgiven for thinking that I held back. I did not even know that we were assembling. I did not know that the armies were moving forth. But now that I do, you will see that the father of Telemachus is no coward, and that he fights among the best of them. Agamemnon smiled at this, and he said, That is good to hear. Let us forget any hasty words, and let us all share in the profits of what will come today, for they will not be getting away with what has occurred. Odysseus, I will feast with you up on the walls of Troy once we have taken and burned that city, and we will eat a great banquet on its ashes, putting out the flames with wine poured out to the son of Kronos and to the earth shaker and to that great one down below, the horseman Death, and to all the Olympian gods, above, below, and within, all around us. And he strode forth and moved throughout his army, offering words of encouragement and enticement and goading to his captains. All right. Some less fluid parts there, definitely. An interesting moment where I actually had forgotten for a moment both the names of the fathers of Diomedes and Sthenelus, which is hard to do. It's especially Tydeus, to forget his name. But I did a decent job. For Sthenelus, I really got caught up, but I didn't break the character. At least I kept in it, even if I started laughing because of how unexpected it was to forget his father's name. But what I ended up doing was I sort of made something up in the moment where I forgot it that would somewhat fit that moment. And then later had Agamemnon refer to him by his patronymic name of, the son of Tydeus or the son of Capaneus. And that is more or less what it would have been in those types of storytelling. Otherwise, mostly sticking to it. I don't remember if Agamemnon actually goes and talks to Teucer or not, but I thought he deserved a spot, especially because he's going to do some big deeds later that Agamemnon will praise. What else did happen in this one? I kind of got mixed up on where I was setting the story, because I see it here as that everybody's already assembled in the plain and is reassembling their battle lines and stuff. But then at one point I made it so Odysseus and Menestheus were already back at his ships, which are lined up in the middle of the line of ships is where Odysseus's are, kind of in the center. And I was thinking to myself, like, well, how are they so far back? And then I thought, okay, maybe they're preparing the banquet that they were supposed to have, because Odysseus is always kind of like seeking out food. It's kind of like an inside joke in Iliad among various scholars, is that like he's always looking forward to the next feast. So I figured like maybe he's gonna go prepare the banquet, and so I set that up in this version of the story that we're telling, where it's like that he had gone with Menesthius to go and prepare that for the armies, which kind of was a nice little bonus thing. It was a good little character building moment, I guess. Otherwise, pretty, run of the mill, not so bad. I need to add more flavor text to most stuff, but I think it's overall going okay. Again, the thing we're doing here is to, in order to better write the content for the game project that I'm working on, to practice upholding the ancient tradition of oral storytelling, and specifically like this type of like epithet and kind of like slot-based slotting together of stories like an ancient rhapsode would do, in order to be able to come up with stuff off the top of the head for writing stuff for the game. So I don't want to just kind of Frankenstein together a bunch of pieces from Homer, or what we know as Homer, but rather to be able to write new stuff as if it was the same type of thing Homer would have written or said, because he wouldn't have written anything. And obviously, very stilted right now, but doing my best, and that's what we're going to keep doing, is just doing it every time. So let's see how it goes next time.